So,
I can't multitask now at this time.
yeah, we can't multitask at this time anymore. So let me just tell you a bit about the next person that's coming up, because the title is Still Loving Line Work. Because a lot of people, they have this thing about not doing line work, and I understand it from entertainers from where we used to be, when we used to do it. At times we didn't like the line work, but at other times we quite enjoyed it too. It's one of these things. I think it's a mindset about it. There's a difference between being a line worker and a balloon machine, I'm guessing. So we've just had the magic noise go up, which means we've gone up by another 100. Can you believe it? Hello, Andrew Downey. You're a Scottish guy. I recognise you. Donna Dance a Lot. Hiya, Donna. Sarah Meir. You can't believe it's still going? What? Of course it's still going. Did you think we were going to quit? You don't know us very well.
Our next person who's coming on has got their volume turned up high, and when she hears this, she's going to turn it down for me.
You think?
That's my guess. Once she gets it, because she's on the delay.
Okay. Well, while we're doing that then, I'm going to read out the description, because fun and fabulous line work designs with tips and tricks. This is going to be hands-on class. So I
she's going to need another hint. Can she turn the volume down? Because she's a bit loud.
We'll find out, because there's going to be a lot of feedback if she doesn't turn it down before then. Aha!
Yay!
Right. Showing designs that she makes in the real world. We're also going to learn how to balloon wrangle my gorgeous unicorn horn. So join her with your Vivids markers, balloons, and trusty pump. We might even time to learn a little bit of Kiwi. So please give a huge warm welcome.
We might have some audio issues, but we will get them sorted.
The one and only Pippity-Pop. Here she is. Everybody give her a huge welcome.
Why is she upside?
Because she's from down under. That's why she's upside down. Can you see that? Did you get that? She's upside down.
Well, we're going to have to fix that. Come on. We'll do that. We'll do that. There we go.
I'm going to put this in briefly.
Fantastic. Yes. So you can hear. Let's have a look. Make sure we've got all the audio. Can you hear us okay, Pip, there?
I can hear you great.
Excellent.
Great. We can hear you great too.
Super.
So, yes, we've got Pippity-Pip. Of course, we had to do it at one point, right? You knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. Yeah, we love Pip. We were at the OzJam in 2018, which was it's a fantastic event, the whole thing.
Remember what goes on at OzJam stays at OzJam.
Yeah, kind of. So anyway, we took an extra class with Pip, or an alternative version of Pip, which was very informative. Yeah,
I learned a lot.
And it was a whole lot of fun.
A lot.
If you haven't seen her work before,
not about me, but about everybody else.
If you haven't seen her work before, you guys are in for an absolute treat. Okay, so relax, get your hands on your pumps. That's balloon pumps, and let's play along with Pip. All right.
The fabulous Pip, Pippity-Pop.
They're all yours, Pip.
Great. Kia ora! Hi, everyone. Now I'm going to try. Lulu told me that when I get too excited, I talk too quickly. So I will try and keep it slow. We are now into 1 week lockdown here in New Zealand. That means only going out for essentials. And I've decided that essentials are chocolate fish. We definitely need our Kiwi chocolate fish. Don't we, Jeff from Tassie? I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'll be 10 stone heavier by the time that we're finished this lockdown. Okay, so we talked about line work. I love line work designs, and this is what this class is about. So these are creating sculptures that are fun, fast, and fabulous. A maximum of 4 minutes is what we're wanting. I try and get it down between sort of 3.5 minutes max. And then some designs, like if you're going to make a sword, for instance, or just a poodle on a lead, that sort of thing, you can knock that time down again. But I like to offer on my balloon menu board all sorts of different choices. And so these are some new ones that I've created especially for Q Corner Convention. So a big thank you to Dom and Keith and to Susan, who's just that, I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it, how they've managed to pull this off, really. So this year it would have been the fabulous OzJam convention in Sydney, and Rochelle and Bruce do an amazing job there, but sadly they had to make the call because it's meant to be in August, so unfortunately it's not happening this year. But the cool thing is I can bring some of those designs that I was going to be teaching there to here. So enough waffle for me, or from me. So when I'm making a design to teach, I like to give credit to the artist that's created a specific technique or idea. So there's a couple of designs that are new, and then this one we often have like our standard little pony. And there's a technique on here that Billy Damon showed on his lecture. Now, funnily enough, I spoke to the balloon guru, Jeff Hayes from Tasmania. He's my go-to man. If you want to know anything about balloons, history, designs, Jeff's brain, he just remembers everything. And he said, I think Billy Damon's the man to go to. Somebody else said, Billy Damon's the man to go to. So I contacted Billy and talked about this technique that I'm going to show. And he said, no, it's been around for ages. But obviously it's Billy who they remember that creates the technique that we're going to do here. So let's get started. Hopefully you've seen my balloon list. I'll just go through it again. For Pavlo the pony, and Pavlo is short for pavlova, which is a New Zealand national dessert. I repeat, a New Zealand national dessert. And so for Pavlo, we need a 350 mocha, or as we'd say over here, mocha, a 260 mocha, a 260 chocolate brown, a 160 red, a 260 lime green or spring green, just for the base here, a little bit of scrap, and of 260 white, and a scrap of 160 black. And I am shouting out loud. I have got a loud voice, so hopefully I'm not blowing your ears off here. So let's get started with this wee fella. So we're going to inflate our 350 mocha. And I'm using a dual legenda, so two legendas connected together. It creates a super fast pump, which I love. So you don't need to inflate it fully. And we're going to tie that off. So we're going to create a small bubble, and this is for the lips. Actually, if I put him here with my very expensive vase, you'll get to see him. Whoops. Let's see. Great stuff. Okay, so we're going to twist off just a little bubble, so only 2 fingers, and we're going to pinch twist it. Now, with your pinch twist, quite often I see, sorry, I'm going to be a bit sort of picky here, quite often I see the nozzle not being, or sorry, the knot, and I'll just shoot up here, the knot fully wrapped into the twist. If you do that, you get sort of a soft bubble, and we don't want that. So creating a good pinch twist, we want to hold on to the knot. If I turn that round that way, hold on to the knot. We're going to pull the bubble out of the way and ensure that the knot is next to the twist. And a pinch twist should look like a bean. So we're going to repeat that again. Just a 2-finger bubble. And we're going to marry those up. And there's lips. So now for his wee neck, we're going to twist off a 4 to 5 finger bubble. Now, what we can do here is we can either put it under our arm to go to the next step, or just put it aside. I would put it under my arm, and I'm sorry about that. So we'll just put this to the side at the moment. Now we're going to grab our 260 mocha, and we're going to do a technique which is rather cool. We want to distort the balloon, and I'm not talking about stuffing something inside the balloon, actually distorting the balloon. So if we look, we can get, say, divide your balloon into thirds and grab the first third. Now I'm going to work the pump with my heel of my hand. So I'm going to work the button with the heel of my hand, and I'm going to insert the nozzle. Must remember to smile. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to really stretch this balloon out. So as far as you sort of think it can go. And you'll see, now I've got a wee hole in that one, so I'll save that for Sunday because it's holy. And we'll do this again. So grab a third. Whoops. Getting a bit trigger happy now. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay, so we're going to grab that. We're going to stretch. I'll stand over here. We're going to stretch it out. And put another hole in this. Now, this is not due to any problems with the balloons whatsoever. Just these couple. So let's do this again. 4th time lucky. Right. It should be easier than this. I've done it a million times. So we're going to stretch it out. There we go. Now we're going to tie this off. Now because I lost my nerve a wee bit here, this is a wee bit thicker than what I'd like. But can you see the definition between the smaller and the larger? Now, if you're making a sculpture, you could turn that into a beer bottle. But what it means is that if you're making, say, for instance, a princess or something that requires a larger top, like a head, and then little arms, this would be the way to do it. Because sometimes when we do princesses, we end up with great big bulky arms that are just, well, maybe she's a workout princess, but that's not the type of princess that we want. Now that I've relaxed a wee bit, there you go. We should do it a million times, and then of course when you do this, it doesn't want to play ball. So the great thing about it with line work, what you want to do is you want to try and lessen the amount of times that you have to inflate and add a new balloon. So, oh, sorry, I'm getting a bit fast here. I'm just start again. So what we want to do is we want to twist off a bubble that's about a hand and a thumbnail. We're going to repeat that on the other side. Hand and thumbnail. And we're going to twist those together. Now, we're going to grab our 350, and we're going to join it into the ears, into the hair, just like this. We're going to break off this, but we're going to save it, so we can just knot it, and these are going to be our legs. Now, with that technique that we just saw there, badly, you can actually use that and give it a wee wiggle, and if you actually re-stretch the latex, it'll pop where you rub it. And what will happen is that the balloon will reinflate at that spot, and it'll give you wee bumps if you want to. Say, for instance, if you're making bamboo for a panda, or seaweed, or anything else that you would like a new technique on. So it's a great technique to have. Now we're going to then grab another bubble, make another bubble, and we're going to make it the same size as his face. Now, sorry, I'll have a wee look here. Hi, guys. Yes, sometimes somebody's just said that if you run out of a 260 and you need to have a smaller, sorry, if you run out of a 160 and you need to actually make a 160 or need a 160 for your design, you can use that technique. Now, just to make it easy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist off another bubble the same size just as the neck. So it's more or less 3 bubbles, all about 5 fingers width. I'm going to twist off a small bubble at the end, and that's going to be his hind quarters. Now, I don't do 2. If you do 2 bubbles, you can do, but it just looks a wee bit too realistic. So I'm just going to get rid of the remaining piece, and I'm going to throw it in my bits and bobs box. And I'll talk about my bits and bobs box later. So we've got this unusual character here. We're going to twist off. Now, the legs, we don't want them too exaggerated, so I would say a hand and a thumb. So about 6 inches. I've measured that when I'm twisting along and measuring a balloon, a hand and a thumb from that side of my hand to my thumb is 6 inches. Now, it's always good to sort of mark these or have an idea so that it makes it easier to get your bubble sizing correct. So we're going to repeat that. We can just measure that up against our other balloon. This time we're going to go to his back end, and we're going to repeat again another 6-inch balloon and fold it into, or twist it into that twist sphere. And then we're going to finish off with the remainder. Hi, Grandma B. So I'm just looking down when I can have a chance here. So this is what we've got so far. Now we're going to put his mane on, and so for that we're going to add a chocolate brown. Now, I do a lot of AMP shows, which are agricultural and pastoral shows, and a lot of kids, I mean, I love the wee pony, you know, the Jackie O, David Brin pony, and I'll make a little miniature one of those for unicorns. But a lot of the kids that are at these shows actually ride real ponies. So they want one that's more realistic or less fantasy. So this is the one I make. So we're going to start at the neck joint. And you can plait the mane, but this is how I do it to make it super fast. I'm going to twist off a 2-finger bubble. I'm going to twist off another 2-finger bubble. Whoops. And a third 2-finger bubble. And I'm going to wrap it into where the ears come out. So it looks like this. Now, if I remember it correctly, my friend Ramsey, who has horses, told me that the fringe, or I think in America you call them bangs, is called a forelock. So she'll tell me off if I've got it wrong. So let's put our forelock on. And we're going to repeat those bubbles down the other side. 1, 2, 3. Now, am I going at a good speed, guys, or is it too slow, too fast? Oh, thank you. Hear a voice from above. Okay, now we're going to put a tail on. We're going to just use the remaining bit of that balloon, just here. Oh, by the way, happy April Fools. Well, for some of you, I thought it would be good to, we're going to attach the tail to the back end. I thought it would be great to twist on April Fools because I'm a fool. But it really is that I'm a fool because for me, it's actually Thursday, midday for me. So, good morning. Or just about good morning. Now for the tail, you can either do the old that or, sorry, it pops back out. So you can either add that for the tail or you can give it a wee bit of a shape and do more or less that sort of shape. And we're going to pop that in. In some ways I like this shape because this horse is a wee bit more realistic. Now we want to have our tail facing down. A tail facing up is totally natural, but you just don't want to be standing behind it. Right. Da-da-da. So he's on to the final rung now. And so for the eyes, I'm going to show you 2 ways. I said the other day to a wee girl, oh, sorry about the squeaks. It's like fingers down a blackboard. And this wee girl said, what's a blackboard, Pippity-Pop? Oh, God, I feel ancient. So we're just going to do the little simple, I'm just going to pop that in there so you can see. Oh, everything's back to front, so here we go. Now, if you haven't heard me rabbiting on about this before, but this is my tip that I'd love to pass on. I work with 2 Eddings pens, the paint markers, and I colour one in. So you'll see one end has got a black end, one end's plain. The one with the black end is the only one I use to touch ink. Because what happens is that when you touch the ink, it transfers onto the pen and dirties the nib. So when you want to come and do gorgeous princess eyes direct onto the balloon, they end up with a big grey smudge. And that's why I work with a clean pen as well. So this pen only touches balloon. So we've got those wee eyes. So he's good to go. You can put him through your hand like this and boom, done. Yeah. Sorry, that was my really bad pony thing. But what we can do now is that we can change the eyes and just add a little bit of a cartoon effect. So we're going to inflate our white 260 and we're going to twist off a small bubble. So it's only 2 fingers and we're going to pinch twist it. Again, making sure that it's a lovely bean shape. We're going to pinch twist a second one. So you've got 2 matching. Now I'm going to inflate a 160 in black. And I'm going to tie that into my pinch twist. Now at this stage, you could do 2 pinch twists for the black. Now when you're doing line work and you're making so many of these, gosh, I do see how much weight I have put on. I'm lying, I was always like this. If you do a pinch twist, you're working those fine motor skills which are really hurting your hand. To save this, what I do is I'll twist off a small bubble, I'll twist off a second small bubble, and I'll tie that in. And then all I'll do is I'll wrap the remaining bubble of black through, and it'll split your eyes and create a lovely symmetrical size. And it saves your hands because you're doing big movements. Now, save that for later. Now, whenever I'm doing line work, I have a little pop-up bin with me. And for balloons like this, they go into the pop-up balloon, and it saves you so much time for when your next person comes along, you're working with an already inflated balloon, as opposed to having to start again. The other thing is that each time you inflate a balloon, you're changing the structure of it. Okay, so we're going to also save this white because we're going to use it for later on. Right, I think I need to speed things up because I've got so much I want to get through. Okay, so now look away if you're a purist, because I'm going to put some blue dots on. It's actually, oh, I love this. I was shown this by Luke over in Germany, these U-glue. And I managed to get some, not dots, but just strips. And boy, even in cold weather down here, because I'm pretty close to Antarctica, it still sticks. So what we can do is boom, and suddenly it's got that real cartoony look about it. And the cool thing about it is that you can make these eyes up just while you're watching TV and that during the week before you go to a gig, and then pop them in the freezer. I have a freezer load of little eyes and I pack them into a bag, and even if you're making the most basic design, bang a couple of those on and it takes it to a whole new level. Even a worm looks extra cute with those eyes. So you've got this sort of arrangement now with the cartoon eyes, but like I say before, if you want to save time, just draw them on. And now we're going to put a bridle on. So we're going to inflate our 160 red. I'm going to put a tiny wee pinch twist in. I'm going to set it to one side and measure the other side and add another pinch twist. We're going to go round. Now you could go up if you want, but I'm not, to save time. I'm going to pull it back and just wrap it round. Now the cool thing about it is that you've got bubbles there to stop that from slipping. So you can wrap that round. Again, save that because you'll probably need it for something else, whether it's a bow on something or a ladybird, tiny wee ladybird, and pop that into your blow up basket. So we could finish that off by putting your hands through there and just having it like that, or we could give them some grass. And in this line, what I've done, or in this design here, what I've done is I've just done a 6-petal flower, and I tell a lie, a 7-petal flower, and I've just put a hair tie on it because they end up being quite loose for a wee kid's hand, which is quite cool. And you can put them on a head. But the other thing that I use is a wand. And I really like for kids to be able to hold their balloons without having them fly away or hitting the grass or mum and dad having to hold them. So what I do is I just twist off a bubble and a little flower petal. I squeeze the air along. I twist off a bubble and a little flower petal. Now I should have said I more or less fully inflate it. Now, I'm going to show you how strong girls are. Yeah. Okay, so my technique for this is that I'm rolling the balloon inward and pushing it tight together. So roll in. I'm so nervous that it's all a bit crackly and funny. Whew. Whoops. I'm embarrassed about it. Usually I get them a lot tighter, but that's all right. We'll be doing another one later on. So, and then all we do is we just pass that flower petal through the legs. And he's done. The great thing about that is that with these being so tight, they actually wrap straight onto your hand. So a wee kid can... Excellent. Okay, so how was that? Was that all right? Just go down in there. Yep, so I put the eyes, I can make the eyes on site, or I can put the eyes in the freezer, pop them in a bag so they don't smell of fish or anything else that you don't want them to smell of. Now, and oh cool, excellent. Now my next design, now usually I run them through the Jeff check. So this is a design that I've made up that I don't believe I've seen anywhere else, but this time I didn't run it through the Jeff Hayes check. So I apologize if it is identical to somebody else's design, pure coincidence. So this is mine, which I think is adorable, Sammy Snail. Right. So we're going to put him up here and let's get started. So you've got your product list. We want to grab a green 260. Gone a bit blurry here. Yep. And we're just going to inflate it, leaving, say, a 3-finger tail. And we're going to tie it off. Now, we're going to inflate a green round. We're going to overinflate it because we want to stretch the latex. And then we're going to bring it back in till we get sort of a lovely, more or less a grapefruit size, a large grapefruit size. And we're going to tie it right at the lip end. Now we're going to grab our 160 and we're just going to put a little bit of air in. And because I'm using the dual inflator, it shoots a lot of air out. So we're just going to make about a 3-finger bubble. I'm going to split it. Whoops, I'll show you what I'll do there. Split it. Hold those 2 bubbles in one hand. And then I'm just going to relax or break the latex down on the other end. Just by giving it a wee snap. Then I'm going to, now I don't know what to do now, whether you're meant to blow on them or get your child to blow on them or not. We'll wait and see how we get back. You don't have to split it at the beginning, but it was just, if you've never done this before, it does help so that you're only transferring one part of that first original bubble. Now we're going to put these 2 together, split them in half, and then tie a knot. Just a little knot right at the end. Now, what we're going to do, have a little piece of scrap, 160 scrap on hand, or we're going to tie it direct onto the 260. So I'll leave that up to you. So we're going to squeeze the ear right into the neck chamber. And the reason being is that if you tried to marriage twist this in now, you could actually lose a lot of that real estate that you've gained there in the neck. So we want to use all of that. We're going to squeeze it up. We're going to press the 2 knots together. And while still squeezing, I'm going to push my index finger down into it. You'll get to the point of no return. You can't go any further without fear of popping the balloon. Once you get to that point, release your gripping hand and it'll go. Now you're going to find in this case, you're going to actually look for the center or the base of the balloon. Often you'll see it's where the latex pulls a wee bit, so it's a wee bit darker. So we've got that. We're going to twist that round and we're going to hold on to the knot and we're going to tie either a scrap or our 260 directly onto the knot. Wrapping it around a couple of times and then tying it in. Like that. Now, we're going to twist off a super tiny bubble and we're going to pinch twist it. We're going to twist off another super tiny bubble and pinch twist it. So we've got this arrangement. The reason why I do the 2 pinch twists is just to give it stability. So now I'm going to measure 6 inches. So that's from the heel of my hand to the tip of my finger. And I'm going to twist off 2 pinch twists. We're like this. Now I'm going to twist off another 6-inch bubble and a pinch twist. Now I was meant to look this up, whether snails have tails. They do because it rhymes. But anyway, they do have a little bit of sort of wiggly bit at the end. So we're going to put one on. I don't know what the scientific term of that is. Right, we're going to match the bubble up. So it's like that. Now at this stage, you could run that remaining under, like that. Or I'm going to make a loop. Now the loop is so the child can wear it. Just like that. Now, you could either make a spiral, which often people do, but I thought the geo is a really lovely effect. So I'm going to get you to grab your geo. Now, if you're not keen or not confident with sidewall bubbles, I want you to put a raisin in. Now, when it comes to raisins, here's my wee tip. Hanging off my balloon bag, I've actually knotted, oh, it's hard to see with the, hold on, I'll see if I can stand there. I've knotted a 260. Oh, it's so hard to see. A 260 with a ton of knots. So when it means if I'm in a line work situation or any work situation, I need a raisin, boom, I can just cut them off willy-nilly without having to hurt my fingers, and they're on hand and you're not saving them in a box or anything like that. Of course, somebody like Ken Stirman, he would be using, I think he uses beads. Thelma Lovett uses sort of cake decorating balls, those sort of things. So put your raisin in your geo. We're going to inflate our geo. And we never saw that. Balloons take a long time to come to New Zealand. By the time they arrive here, they're like 10 years old. No, they're not. I'm just joking. Don't sue me. Right. Oops. Now, this is a raisin. That's a knotted balloon. Don't be like my friend. Actually, it's the funniest thing. And I know that I've told it before, but it's so good. I cannot resist. My friend Zappo in Wellington, after telling about a design that it needed a raisin, he rang me up about 3 hours later and said, it's not working. The raisin's not working. He said, it's getting all mushy. I can't grab it. It's smearing the inside of my balloon. He said, should I have used sultanas instead? You'd use a real raisin. I just love it. And he's absolutely gorgeous. Right. So we don't want that too tight, especially if we are using a sidewall bubble. But I've got my raisin in here just in case to show you what I do here. I'm going to tie this geo into the neck joint, just like that. Now you could make those pieces bigger and wedge it straight in, but at the moment it's sort of flopping around a wee bit. So at this stage you can grab your raisin and a scrap and tie it in, or what you can do is, so it's tied in to that chamber there, we're going to grab and do a sidewall bubble on the next chamber. Now for a sidewall bubble, all I'm doing is I'm making a C with my hand, and squeezing it in. Just like that. And we're going to tie that in. Or twist it in, I should say, to the design. Right. Now, at this point, we could draw on the eyes. We could do, say, a kawaii design, and I'll show you that, which is just 2 circles. And kawaii in Japan means cute and adorable. And then you can give them cheeks. Now, I use makeup. I've gone around when they have makeup sales and testers. I'd say do the same thing. Grab a balloon, take it in with you, because some makeups won't stay on the balloon, and you'll find one that does. So if you have a look on my Facebook page, I've got a picture of the actual makeup brand and everything that I've found that works. So you can pop that in there. Again, using my white marker that goes onto ink, we can pop that on. So you've got your wee kawaii face there, which is rather adorable. And if you're worried about drawing faces and that, just Google cute, whatever animal you're making, maybe a frog, cute frog face, cute snail face, and the Google search will come up with all sorts of ideas, and cartoon drawings transfer beautifully onto balloons. But of course, we'll want to try these eyes again. So I'm going to, again, grab my scrap of white 160. Sorry, I tell a lie. My white 260. Again, 2 pinch twists. We're going to tie in our black. 2 small bubbles. Tie those in. Somebody's out with their forestry. They've got the chainsaw out. I'm sure you probably hear that in the background. It's a beautiful day out there today. Right, so we're going to save that. Okay, so we've got this. Now, for this design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I thought, oh gee, using a Kath and Tim quote, I loved myself silly when I came across this, or thought of this idea. Well, I think I thought of it. Somebody else has probably thought of it too. It's the way the balloons are, isn't it? Sometimes you think you come up with great things, but there's only so much you can do with a balloon. So we can end up thinking we've got great ideas, and somebody else also has. So what I'm going to do is what I've done is I've done 2 pinch twists, and then, gosh, I'm just wondering whether it's not showing so well on my camera. Oh, is that better? So 2 pinch twists and a 3rd pinch twist behind. And I'm going to pull my little antenna up and wrap them into that 3rd pinch twist. Ta-da! Now, you might be thinking, why did she do that? The reason being is that if you just had your eyes up, the antenna are going to go backwards. By having that 3rd bubble, it stabilizes the eyes so that they're upright, and it keeps your antenna up as well. I hope that makes sense. Oops. Oh no, I've just lost me neck. Poor snail. Yeah. Hold on there. Bear with me. Now the one thing that we'll try not to is stress. So, grab that. No biggie. Of course, if anything's going to go wrong, it goes wrong when you're teaching. It makes you guys wonder, my goodness, why'd they ask her? Right. Okay, we're back to it. So, we've got our wee eyes on there. Now, we're going to give the little cheeks, again, using my makeup. Oh my gosh, I remember when I first started, I used to use like a pen, and then to get it smudged, I used to go, and then rub it like that. I know, I can hear you all gagging. Right, so we're going to give him his wee cheeks here, and this time we're going to use a red pen, and we're just going to do a little simple mouth. So of course you can choose whether you would like to take the time and put the wee eyes on or draw them. They're both cute. Well, I think so. Now, we can have that upright, that's fine, or we can shape it. So I'm going to give it like a little S shape, just so it gives a little bit of movement there. Now, what I also do is I save my tips of chrome. Actually, I save my tips of lots of things. Part Scottish, that's why. So you can either decide, I've offended all the Scottish people out there. You can decide whether you want to, better push for time. There. Now we are running behind time, as you know, so I might stop one of my designs, and you know, we could do it later. So what we can do is pop these in so that it gives you the little finished bit. But I had a little fella that said to me, Pippity-Pop, can I have a spy snail? And I'm thinking, oh, is it going to have, like, does he want detective glasses, that sort of thing? No, he wanted to leave the whole blank so that he could look through it. And I think sometimes you forget the magic of these balloons, because who else has seen, apart from us, a geo or a balloon that has a hole in it? I mean, that's not meant to have a hole in it. And sometimes you forget what the magic is when you're looking at it from other people's, you know, from other people's point of view, because we're so used to it. But he went round and he was so excited having a snail with a hole in it that he could see. Spy balloon, spy snail. There we go. And put your arm in, and there you go. Whoops, his eyes are looking a bit wonky there. He's a drunk snail. Been in lockdown too long. There we go. Is that okay? Does that make sense? Cool. Excellent. Okay. Now, I thought, after seeing, I came up with this idea and I was thinking, yay, this is so cool. And then as I've been watching other artists, which have been fantastic, I mean, I've just learned so much, that I noticed Jackie did a bee, and then Haley did a bee, but I'd come up with this bee. So I thought, I just loved it so much that I wanted to show you guys how to make this bee. Let's see if we can come up there. And the cool thing is, look, you're actually using the little stinger. So let's get started with our little bee. Again, using my very expensive vase. Right, so we're going to use a 6-inch quick link and a 5-inch round. We're going to inflate our 5-inch round the same as we did with our snail. So we're going to go down, and we want to have a bigger head than the body, because it's all about sort of cartoony-ish. So we're going to grab our balloon like this, and we're going to grab a 160 in black and make some antennae, just like we did before. But don't go too far ahead, because I'm going to show you a little trick. Again, remember to relax that latex, and then it just makes it so much easier for it to pop up into that end. Right. Now I'm going to grab a scrap, because I'm going to show you the difference. Where's my scrap? Here we go. So again, you can inflate your quick link and tie the quick link direct onto the head. But I'm going to show you. We want to make the quick link sort of as high as it is wide, or as wide as it is high. So a perfect sort of an orange size. We'll put that aside. Now again, just like the head of the snail, we're going to grab this, fill up the neck chamber, push the 2 knots together, and push down with your index finger. When you get that real resistance, release your grippy hand, and it'll come in quite easily. The other reason is we use the neck, because if you look through there, you'll see that the neck is stretched the full length of the balloon. If you didn't use the neck, you would find it would super squash, which is okay. You want that if you're making a wheel, but not if you want to make a head. Now, see here, I've grabbed it from, I'm too busy talking and not enough blooming action. Always the case. So instead of pushing it directly through on the opposite angle, I'm going to show you again, because I was not concentrating. We want to do this about, grab it, if you think of a clock face, and that being 9 o'clock and that being midnight, we want to grab it at about 11 o'clock. Just like that. And up. Many people say when I'm twisting, "Oh, I can't believe how you can talk while you twist." And people that know me say, yeah, they can believe it all right. Okay, so if we were to do it like we did before, where did I throw it? Okay, so at the moment, if we were to do it like we did before, the knot would be directly opposite. Now that we've got it on the angle, it means that the head, instead of sitting like that, it sits like that, so that your antennae are up and you've got that whole surface area to make a face if you wanted to. So we're going to grab our quick link and we're going to tie it in. So can you see what I'm saying there? That your antennae are now up, as opposed to they would be like that if you did the attachment in the center. Does that make sense? I'll look down. Brilliant. Excellent. Okay, so we've got this. Now, all we're going to do is grab a 160 in black. And we're not going to use this whole 160, so you don't need to have it fully inflated. We're going to put 2 small pinch twists into the end. And we're going to put the pinch twist at the top, and we're going to wrap this balloon round. Now, we don't want to wrap it tight. We want it so that it's more or less so that it's like the bee is all in one. Not, if you did it too tight, it loses its effect as much, I feel. You want a wee short fat bee, you know. I tend to make little short fat things. I wonder why. Right. Okay, at this stage, you can make your wings out of that, just little wings out of black, save your time, no problem at all. Or, again, save that for your next bee. We're going to wind this in, like this. We're going to grab a 160 in white. Because bees are hilarious, and when you look at cartoon bees, they usually have big fat bodies and little teeny tiny wings, and that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to make some little teeny tiny wings. So we're going to do just little small loops. So probably, funnily enough, a hand and a thumb. That seems to be my rule, a hand and a thumb. I know what 6 inches is. This is when I throw in. No, I won't. Okay. That's for another class. Okay, we're going to tie that in. And we're going to position the wings so they are this way. And I'm going to puff them out a wee bit. So just pull them apart so they're more little rounded wings. Like that. Okay, so we're just about done with this design. And as you can see, I'm teaching it slowly, but you can whip them out really quickly. Now again, we can make the kawaii face. Now, I've written it down because I was kawaii. Sorry, girls, kawaii. So this is a wee kawaii face that I've done, and you can pop that on. Or, again, and I'm just going to steal my eyes off this one to save time, because I know that we want to save time. Sorry, snail. Tied it in so well. Now, when you're giving balloons to a child, you do want to tie things in well, because that's when they'll keep returning back and saying, "Can you fix this? I've undone it." Because let's face it, most twisters started off by getting a design and undoing it, and doing it up again, and undoing it and getting. Well, I did. That's how I started. Spent all my showground money on 3 balloons. It was all my lunch money. My mum went mental. Okay, so we're going to do the same here. You can either draw your eyes on, or again, using the 3 pinch twist technique, you're going to grab that around there, and that around there. And I just think this is adorable. Sorry, Hayley, but I think I like mine more. Right, now we're going to add some cheeks. Again, I'm going to use my makeup. I do have boys that turn around and say, No makeup on mine, please. I want mine to be manly. Right. But, and then of course there's other boys, you know, which is lovely. They say, can I have some glitter too, please? I'm just going to give some wee freckles just because I can. So we've got this. Right. Now I'm super excited. I'm showing off. Look what I did. So I made a template. Now we have the elasticators and, well, the tailing tools and all sorts of other tools in our balloon boxes. Why don't we add some stencils to it? So if you're trying, especially when you're in a rush and you're trying to get a circle around a balloon and it all goes wonky, oh my gosh, that does my head in so much. So I've given it a little hula skirt. So I'm going to put that on there like that. So it's just another tool to have in your toolbox. I'm going to grab a chisel pen, and I've got, I think, the world's best markers, which are Vivids from New Zealand. And we're just going to run round this hula hoop. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking so much. If it's wiggly, it's due to my nerves. I should have got my nerves over by now, but it was that jolly blimmin' inflation that I mucked up at the front at the beginning. Tell you what, if you want your confidence to be knocked, don't teach a technique like that at the start. Point to south. Oh, sorry. That was just a message that came up on my computer that told me to cough it into my arm to flatten the curve. So we're on total. What's that, sorry? Oh, I thought I haven't coughed ever. So there we go. So we've got our little thing. Like I say, I got a bit nervous there. Then what I'm going to do was it was the boys. They were sending me a public service announcement. I'm going to make it so it's like a little bullseye. And then just because I can, you can't see this, I'm just going to, on a flat surface, is just put a wee tink, tink, tink. Okay, I thought I was super clever. So, so my round's nice and round, blah, blah, blah. And then, look what I found, well, thought of, which of course, again, if you're a purist, look away, look away. But you know good old electrical tape? Now the hardest bit, as you can see, is finding the end. Found it. Am I going for time? Oh, good. Got enough time. Yay. So, grab that baby. Let the gravity pull it down. Boom. Now that I've shown you this, you'll think that pen idea sucks. It's so much easier and the effect is really cool. And the electrical tape is also stretchy. So this was a fantastic idea, but not so much. But do keep this in mind. If you are drawing, say for instance, a princess and you're not confident, we always have one side better than the other because it's hard to replicate it on the other side. And often you have like a wonky princess. Make yourself a little template. And just out of cardboard, or often if you've got a laminator at home, use your laminating sheet without any paper inside and just use the plastic, and you can make yourself a really cool, and I do use them for like my Dora the Explorers girls, which sort of have an eye that's like that. And that's how you start off. And it sort of has, I don't know what, the corner of your eye down there. And you can just draw that and then switch over your template, and then you have an identical eye on the other side. Often not for line work, but brilliant if you're doing sculptures, because you can spend a lot of time doing the most amazing sculpture. And when it comes to the face, you start sort of, you jolly well lose your confidence, don't you? Okay, so this is a really cool idea. So, oh, listen to me. I'm so full of myself today. How much? Sorry, how many, Dom? About 15 minutes? Okay. Right, well, we better get this unicorn done. So we're going to finish off by, all I'm doing is inflating a clear and if you fully inflate it, it'll fly. Well, not fully inflate it, but use quite a lot of the balloon, then it'll work more, make it more buoyant, if that makes sense. If you add a lot of uninflated balloon, it tends to flop. So this just gives it a wee bit of strength. So you can put that on a hat if you're wanting to be extra silly, or make a wee, handle like a sword handle so that it can be flown around, or put on a pram, stroller, buggy, struggly. There you go. Does that make sense? Cool. I'll just buzz this one up. Okay, right. I've saved this. It was to second last because I wanted you to have to be prisoners and hang around and watch my former designs. We are going to tackle my unicorn horn and unicorn head wear. So, I recently taught in Europe, and I must say there were only 2 people, and that was Liz from Ireland and Dennis from the Netherlands, that really got the hang of this horn. So either it's very difficult or I'm a useless teacher. So we'll try it. And Jeff helped me, my friend Jeff, of course, that I've spoken about, the uncanny Jeff Hayes, has given it a name, and it's called Pip's Twist and Curl Horn. So let's tackle it. I'm going to, don't start yet, I'll just preempt it. Now, quite often, this is how it's formed. I tell you what, I was at Twist and Shout, and I saw a horn, and I'm sorry I can't remember where it originated from, but it was John Justice that showed me it, where it had 2 balloons, and I just could not get it. After the 3rd time, I'm thinking, do I go back to John? And he's going to say, this girl's a total idiot. I just was too embarrassed to do it. So then I was playing around at home and managed to get the same curl, but with 1 balloon. So this is, I'll show you the steps. The cool thing about this is this horn can be made with a 160, and it also can be made with all the different colors. So you don't need friction, which you do need with the 2. I understand, sorry, I shouldn't quote. I understand you need friction with the 2 balloons, so you're better to use chrome with the 2 ones. So when we started off making a horn, or a lot of people will make a horn, and it'll be like this. Then you start getting a wee bit careful, well, not careful, confident is the C word I was looking for, and you start pulling your string into the balloon a little deeper. So then you get this effect. Does that make sense? I'm looking down. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Steph. It was a twist. It was Antonio, and it was 3 twists and shouts ago. Right. So when you pull it in, you'll see that you're pulling it in. So then you get this effect. Now I'm going to take this one step further. So I'm going to grab my chrome. Leaving plenty of tail, you don't need it. You're going to leave that part uninflated. I'm not going to tie it. Now the reason why I don't want to tie it is I want the ear to travel down into the tip. If you put a knot in it, you see that jolly big knot there. So what I'm going to do also is that I'm going to film this at different angles, and I'll get Tony, because I'm left-handed. God made few perfect people, all the rest are right-handed. Anyway, I digress. So I'll get Tony to film it, and we'll do it from different angles, and we'll flip it so that right-handers can see as well, because it is quite hard. So I'm working with my hands crossways. I am going to pull this balloon really taut, like that. And I am going to really cut it in, as if you were tying up, really tying that balloon in. Oops, I'll move it up. So I'm just going to keep this scrap on a 90-degree angle and very, very taut. And then I'm going to just twirl the 260, hence the Pips curl and twirl, or twirl and curl, get it right, Pip. I'm going to twirl it round, and then I'm going to sit the balloon, pull the balloon up and sit it onto the scrap. So it's very hard to see. Oh, here we go, we'll see. So pulling it as tight as I can, a quarter turn and over. Quarter turn, so I'm pulling the actual 260 up onto the strap. Up, up, up. And like I say, it's going to be very hard seeing it here with the, hold on, I'll see if I can do it with the different angles. So up, a quarter turn, up, and you're more or less sitting, you're really pushing that balloon or the scrap or the tail, uninflated part, into the balloon, cutting it in, and then sitting the remaining 260 onto it. Pulling it up and sitting it on, pulling it up, sitting it on. So it's like heaving. Okay, then you can tie it off. Now we have those, so you can see there with this one, you can see that the ear is falling down and going into the twist instead of a big knot. It sort of melds a wee bit more. So this is really cool. Mind you of those Calypso lollies or ice creams, but great if you were doing mechanical things or anything that needs a curl. Right, so we're going to get rid of that. Like I say, what I'll do is I will film it again, and then you guys can have a look on Facebook, or I can give it to Dom and Keith. They can go there. Now, we are going to quickly make our unicorn headband and add our horn to it. So, what we need is a headband. I quite like using the sort of thicker ones. And then we're going to grab our 260 white. We're going to release some ear and leave a little bit of scrap there and tie it off. Whoops. So we're going to add 2 little pinch twists. And I'm going to add an ear. I want it to be a soft bubble, so I want it to be about 7 inches, so a bit more than my hand and thumb. We're going to twist off a 2-finger bubble and 2 more little pinch twists. Now I've got a couple of minutes left. Let's do this. Pardon? Thank you. My 2-minute warning. Okay, so again, we're going to make our second ear. And we're going to release that end here. So we'll have this arrangement. Now at this stage I'm going to, because the white doesn't show up, and I'm going to make this larger because I just want to show you something. Whenever I'm making flowers, oh, now you might have noticed those flowers there. One of those flowers, if you've been tracking me, I used hairspray on. It is now, what are we, 9.5 days into it. And it's the one on the right hand side. It's definitely smaller, but it's incredible just how long it's lasted. So that's with cheap hairspray. Unbelievable. Right, so I've made some big horns here, look like rabbit ears. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grasp the top of the twist, the end of the twist, and you can instantly see it's forming a peak. So great for horses' ears, those sort of ears. What I'm going to, or any ears that has a peak, fox's ears. So what I'm going to do, well, is I'm going to grab the base. So I'm squeezing the top, grabbing the base, and mushing together. I hope that shows how how the difference. So you've got this one or that one. Does that make sense? So you've got just a nice little bit of detail in there. So that one, and again, then you've got unicorn horns. So what we're going to do is we're going to place, turn the horns over. I know Craig Cash likes unicorn horns. Right. We're going to put our horns, we're going to use those scraps, so we're going to place the middle pinch twist in the middle of our headband, and we're going to tie in the scraps over here. Now, if you've got crazy hair like mine, you can actually, you don't even need the headband. It just blimmin' well comes in. So then we're going to tie our horn in. You can just tie the design direct into my hair. Okay. So oh, sorry, I've got a star that's waiting in the wings. Is that okay? So we've got our horn up. Now, good horn, naughty horn. Know the difference. How do I say this? It has a different reaction if you've got your horn on an angle than what it is if it's leaning upwards. I will say no more. So with with the wee flowers, you can see they're just little 6-petal flowers that I've done bubble, bubble, join them together, and then gone right round. So if you were in a line work situation, that would take too long. So what I do is, that's good if you were at a birthday party, you can add those gorgeous wee flowers. But if you're in a line work situation, just a little simple bow is all you need. Ta-da! Right, now.
Awesome, Pip.
My final thing. Sorry, guys. Don't never underestimate the 3-twist braid. I was wanting to show you my parrot, but I was too busy yakking and not enough time. But you will find that on my DVD. Ha! Plug. So, we're going to grab this, we're going to grab that, we're going to grab this. And I think this is really underrated. It is, of course, not my design. I think it's been around since Adam was a cowboy. But the 3-twist braid for line work is incredible. And especially with the chrome, the oohs and ahs are amazing. So I'm going to give it a wee stretch. Yep, I'm going to put my here. So you can put a top on this, like a heart, a filled clear. You can add a white 260 12, and lo and behold, you've got Elsa here. Now, I have made another 12, and oh my gosh, I see that there is some random child waiting in the line. Come on over here, my random child. She's trying to get round my balloons. What would you like? This is my daughter Grace, and you'll see her a lot on my
Hey,
pictures.
Grace.
She always likes to. You say hi, everyone. Hi. Hi, everyone. So what I've done is I've added the unicorn ears and horn on to the crown. There you go. And you turn to the side and you can see horn up, not out.
That
you say,
looks...
thank you, random balloon lady.
Grace, welcome to the corner.
That looks absolutely fantastic.
Right now.
Super special guest.
I hope that was all right.
Thank you, Grace.
Fantastic. Well done, Grace.
You say thank you, Grace.
Glory, all the credit.
Well, we've got a hashtag cute Grace going up through the chat at the moment. Guys, please, in the chat, show your appreciation to the ever wonderful Pippity-Pop. Okay, she's giving up her time for free to share with you.
No, it was all Grace. No, Grace takes the credit. She was there at the end. Takes the credit. That's how it works. Well done, Grace.
Yeah, somebody's did a quote there. Never underestimate the 3-twist braid. Yeah, quoted from Pippity-Pop.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Pippity-Pop. Thank you very much.